Let's drop it to Queerantine. Drop them virtual hugs, them hearts, smashing keyboards, all that dope shit for the dopest comedians at ColdTowne or on ColdTowne TV for that matter. Go ahead, keep dropping them. Get them hearts up.
Get it going. We ain't leaving until
the right. Let's get it, y'all. Yeah.
Oh, this is my last introducing Quarantine. I love y'all.
Aww. Hi. Are we heard by anybody? Oh, there we go.
There we are.
No, Javi, we can't. Is it a refresh sitch again? Oh, cute.
Oh, no.
I think it's refresh your screen, right? That's what. Oh.
How about now?
Oh. Yes, there you go. Hi.
Yes.
Hi.
Hi, I'm so pixely. Where am I? Am I in Tron land?
Gay Tron.
We did Prince again?
It's just Tron. We did do Prince.
We did Prince.
Oh, we look really great. I miss y'all.
Yeah, wow. I missed y'all too. So everyone at home, we normally do a prep call, but this week Laura had the brilliant idea of no prep call. So tonight you're catching up on things for the first time since our last show. So buckle up, y'all, because it's going to be one fucking excellent Queerantine.
Yeah, I'm ready for a raw catch up. Let's.
Before we do that, I have a couple of things because I think we were all watching the channel before this.
We were, yes.
Shout out to Katie and Katie for a fantastic idea for a show.
Excellent.
Of just reviewing Wish items. Incredible. And also lots of love to Keelan, since this is the last time he's introducing.
No, that was very sweet. We'll miss you, Keelan. Oh, there went Mace into Tron land. I don't know. There, yeah, you're back.
Oh, you're back.
Great. Just change the setting.
Yeah, I think I loved of the things that Katie and Katie were reviewing. I loved the sunflower seed dish thing with the little component to spit out, and you can put your phone in. I mean, I would use it like on a road trip when I don't want to engage with the driver, or on my couch when I don't want to watch.
Have y'all ever ordered anything off of Wish?
No, honestly, I had never heard of it before like an hour ago. So this was a very informative time.
It's
for
great.
me.
It's great.
You've ordered things,
so much
Javi?
scandalous swimwear and underwear from there. They're each like $2. The fit is hit or miss, and it usually arrives to you 3 months later. And it's like a really fun surprise when it gets here. It's the best website.
I love that things fit or don't fit.
It's fine. It's $2.
Yeah.
Sure, shipping is $60, but whatever.
Javi, I hate to jump in, but can we talk real quick about your facial hair?
Yeah, let's talk about it. You know what? You know why? Because this is like a coming out moment for me. First of all, I got a haircut today. It's very exciting. Second of all, I'm trying to center myself in the camera. So yeah, I've been growing my facial hair out in quarantine. I've also developed what we in the mental health world refer to as trichotillomania, which is I'm so anxious about the world and everything that I've basically cleaned up this side. This side is like bald because I just keep pulling hairs out all day long.
Is that painful?
Not anymore. Once you deaden those nerves, you just got to stick to it.
Trichotillomania.
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 That's right.
Expressing anxiety through plugging out your own hairs.
Hairs. It can also be skin picking. So like some people will pick the sides of their fingernails, or I historically have done it a lot with my eyebrows, but that's mostly cosmetic. But this has been more anxious because now it's like, well, now I just have a gross bald patch in my facial hair. But
fascinating. No, you can't tell.
Who sees me? And also, we're all wearing masks now. We are all wearing masks, right?
Aren't we? Aren't
Are
we?
we? I
Okay.
got a new mask that was advertised to me on Instagram, and it's this company that's here in town, and it's a really aesthetic mask. Like, it looks great, but my gosh, this thing is so thick that I wore it to go renew my car registration today. And when I got home, it had probably been on for like half an hour, 45 minutes, which was like the maximum amount of time that I had it on so far since purchasing. And my entire face was red and sweaty underneath it.
Mm-hmm. So
It was
chic
not
at what
sexy.
cost?
So chic.
How many masks do y'all have?
I have two that are for disease.
I have two. Right. I have two. One purchased from a friend that I love, very chic, and then one that my mother gave me briefly when we almost hugged, but didn't. She just ended up giving me a mask. Long story, and it was a rainbow, and she was very happy to give me the rainbow mask. She said, "Look, Lori, look, it's rainbow," and I went, "Excuse me." I haven't seen you in months, and this is our interaction. I know, it was very sweet. Take it. So people know. Yeah, I don't know. It was very sweet.
Were
How about
were
you,
you
Javi?
not hugging because of social distancing?
Hey, yeah, and I hadn't seen anybody or been close to anybody except Bonica for like, maybe 2 months before that. And she was going to come in my car. I was like, I'm not ready, actually. But ultimately we parted ways with just her giving me the mask, and I think that was symbolic in some way that I haven't yet figured out.
The first time I went to see my mother was for Mother's Day, and it was made very clear to me that not hugging her is not an option.
Oh, yeah.
Which is a thing, right? Like standing up to your parents' insistence that social distance, like, no, you need to hug your mother. Right. Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Meanwhile, my mom came by my place the other day with some food that she had made in her boredom to drop off for me, and she basically threw it out the window at me. Like, okay,
that's the
going,
safest.
Lynn. It was the safest, but
Yeah.
now I have a Florida Gators little cooler that I need to figure out what I'm going to do with until I throw it back at her.
You know what? I lost my cooler too in this mom exchange. My favorite Texas Rangers cooler.
Wow. So many sports teams that we all absolutely cheer for.
All absolutely root for.
Love sports.
Miss
Sports. I miss sports.
I miss sports. Hockey's going to start up soon, which is its own separate episode. We'll see how far they get.
It has built-in plexiglass.
Yeah, absolutely right. Well, no fans will be there, but like still, like they're sweaty men, checking each other into the boards and twirling sweatily. But I'm a big hockey nerd. Yeah, it is great. It's going to be so great if it even lasts. We'll see. It takes a single person to get it before it all crumbles down.
There can be 100 people in a room, and all you need is one. Well, should we get started with our slides?
Yes,
Are
absolutely.
we feeling ready
Let's
for
get
that?
started.
Okay,
I'm
great.
feeling ready for it.
Ho, ho, ho.
Oh,
so
we're so hot.
This one.
Thank
I
you
hope
for that
y'all
one.
appreciate the shots I chose.
We
were so hot.
I remember
that photo shoot being
sizzling.
Blazingly hot, and
so
it was like 8 a.m.
It was too early to be that hot, but I think it was also like this time, whatever year we took those photos. So I think it was just like we were in a really sunny field and we were feeling it.
You brought donuts?
I did.
Anyways, I remember that.
I wore a banana for a lot of that. Was it a banana?
It was a
well,
yes, and
like
there was a ketchup bottle.
There was a hot dog, and I was wearing a mustard outfit. I mean, it was it was a time.
I'm drinking again. That's an update. Since last Queerantine, I went a month sober, and I was like, okay, that was fun. And the day after the month break, I was like, we're gonna have a beer now. This is fun. So I went a month. Okay.
How has
That's
that
amazing,
been? How has
Laura.
your return to
That's
alcohol
amazing.
been?
It's been great. I've missed. It's been great. I love anything to reestablish the relationship with it. I mean, even frankly speaking, in a queer world, we know this is a thing. But also, it was a great great pause and reflection, and just back on beer, no liquor or wine yet. So I'm and we walked to Zilker and got some cute little 6-pack. They were great. One half POC owned actually. And so that was cool. Just being able to get out and go buy something, which were very good social distancers. So that was a plus. It's been great, and I've missed alcohol just a little bit. Yeah.
We're gonna have to trade notes because I got really, really drunk last Friday and spent most of last Saturday very painfully hungover, and I haven't had a drop of alcohol since. And seeing how long this will last.
Yeah, that's
It's
exactly what happened to me.
wow, just like
What
different
happened on this
cycles.
Friday night? Was this like just a get drunk in quarantine night?
Basically, yeah. I wish I
Okay.
could state that it was a rager. I
Right.
happened to be hanging out with two friends in my front yard, which felt at this point like we were all hanging out in Vegas. So we just proceeded to be overserved by the bartender, which was all of us.
Yeah,
Those
that's
pesky
exactly what it was.
bartenders.
Yeah,
Yeah, those
an
pesky
open
bartenders.
bar.
And we didn't even tip those fuckers, and they still overpoured. So. I think we're ready for our next slide.
Let's get into
Considering
it.
how far topic. Oh no.
Oh,
Oh,
Gosh, this
R.I.P.
is just so devastating. So
It
for those of you
is.
who might have been out of the loop as far as the news are concerned, we got confirmation that we lost Naya Rivera this week. And Laura, I know you kind of wanted to talk about this.
I
But yeah, we're all just so
did. Yeah,
devastated, I think, as members of the queer community, to have lost someone
absolutely.
who's such a icon in a way for visibility.
Yeah, which is exactly what I wanted to talk about. She was a huge icon for queer visibility, and in a way that wasn't right, like accessible. Like she was hard. She was a self-proclaimed bitch. Like she wasn't just like white and kind. Like she was mean and for the right reasons, but also pure in her convictions. Was very strong in her own talents. Was like, I'm a badass and I can sing very well and I deserve this. Was originally cast on the show as a minor role, and because of her innate talent and charisma, overran it and became one of the leads towards the end, and was a huge when it aired. Did y'all watch it when it aired?
Yeah, I did.
oh yeah.
Yeah. Oh yeah. So we all yeah. So it was a huge Britannia shipper and loved Brittany S. Pierce both for her name and her dancing abilities, which made me giggle with glee. And how cute they were together, and that whole coming out was iconic in its moments too. And I do appreciate. I think reflecting back on it I was like, oh, that was meaningful to me, even if I wasn't like a youth at that point. It was still meaningful to see an honest queer expression and a queer coming out from a female coming out too, because I know Kurt had his own also. But
Well, Kurt,
yeah, no,
I think
yeah.
was written into like the first like 7 leads of the show, and Santana was
Mm-hmm.
just kind of in the background. And I think for Naya to advocate for authentic portrayals, because I saw some quote this week where originally it was like a fun gimmick that Santana and
Yeah.
Brittany like made out, and I think Naya was like, well,
Right.
what if it's real? What if there's depth to this? Which I think is great that an actor is able to advocate for their character in that way, instead of just being like, oh, well, I'm getting like, some close-ups with this plot line, so let's go for it.
Yes. And absolute pipes. Katie in the comments just mentioned Santana's cover of Songbird, which I watched today. I love you and I love you, Brittany, and I can't tell you through words, so I will express it in song.
Yeah,
Also,
no,
the
I was
rumor
gonna
has
say
it.
I was gonna point out the pipes as well, because that I've been watching the Adele mashup that she did, that her and Brittany.
Yeah, I've watched that today too.
God,
That was so
she
good.
slays that. Also, the thing that was going around this week that I really appreciate is what you were talking about, was that she was such a she was snarky. Like she had like such a
Yeah.
sass and snark, and she was that voice of the show, and that's always like the character I gravitate towards. And people were sharing around that clip of that like 60-second rant where she just reads Kurt to filth, and it's amazing. She was the best.
Yeah. And funny as hell. I'm bailing to live in a lesbian colony or Tribeca. Anyways, it's amazing. Freaking iconic.
So
And
good.
RIP. It's super devastating, but also
RIP,
what a
yeah.
legend.
Yeah.
And what a legacy to
Absolutely.
leave behind. And I think it's amazing that the creators of Glee announced that they're going to do a college fund for her son, so that way his tuition is just completely covered wherever he ends up going. I know he's only 4, but I think it's amazing that he has that strength and that security in his future.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Freaking iconic.
Yeah.
It makes me want to watch
Oof.
it again. I mean, up until a certain
Up until a
point,
certain point, yeah.
but I would start it over for those
Yeah,
epic
season 1 and
mashups, at
2 for
least.
sure.
Yeah.
Should we move
Well,
on?
RIP
What
now.
are we feeling?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
Oh my god. So Ashlyn Harris and Ali Krieger. I forgot I was first. Ashlyn Harris and Ali Krieger did this photo shoot for Allure, a cover photo shoot. I don't know if everybody knows who they are, but they are 2 U.S. women's soccer champions, won 4 World Cups, and met as players on the team, and they've been together for 13 years. They got married last year, and they are incredibly hot for each other at all times. Peruse either of their Instagrams. It's really just them making out all the time, or canoodling, such as this. You can see the nipples a little bit in the photo on the right.
Yeah.
Ashlyn Harris is in the white tank. Ali Krieger in the nude.
Elon,
I
can
don't
you
know,
zoom in? I'm
leotard?
kidding. Don't do that. Don't do that.
What's that CSI
just-
thing? Could we go to zoom in on this specter of the
Yeah,
security
enhance.
footage?
Right, yeah.
Can we enhance
Enhance
quadrant
on
number
titty.
2?
You
We see
can't
some
see the
important
photo in the
evidence that needs further
important
investigating.
evidence. Right. Areolic evidence. The photo in the middle has Ashlyn in her undies and dirty Converse. Ashlyn's a queer butch icon in her own right, and Ali Krieger's absolutely gorgeous. Truly just a moment to pause for delicious married lesbians. I love Boniga so much, and I'm still gaga hot for her. So it's always nice to see other married lesbians be gaga hot for their wives. So representation matters, and it made me absolutely gleeful to see this photo shoot of 2 women that have been together for 13 years and look like they're about to make babies in each other.
And on the cover of
Anything's
magazines
possible.
too.
I know. True, right?
Yeah, what
to
do
be
you
on the
think
cover of
is
magazines
Allure?
and open it up.
Like I know
It's
the
Not to take
Allure.
over.
I know it's been around for decades, but
Yeah.
I don't know the brand. Like I know
Right.
Vanity
Right.
Fair.
I hear what you're saying. Yeah. It was woman's magazine. Maybe like not a teen magazine. I don't think so.
Yeah, it
Just a
feels
woman.
very adult.
I
But
think
like amazing
at
that
this
they're
point.
getting this visibility. Yeah.
I know. Were you
There've
gonna say
been
something?
like some amazing like photo shoots that have come out recently from like magazine, like the Viola Davis cover that came out this week,
Oh,
the Michaela
Yeah.
Cole
so good.
article from like a couple of weeks ago. There's like really great photography happening in core. It's very impressive.
I know.
Yeah.
Yeah, the Janelle Monáe shoot that I talked about 2 weeks ago.
Yeah. That's
Brilliant.
excellent.
Anyway, so wanted to pause for lesbian marriage visibility and 2 people being absolutely hot for each other. You can't fake it.
No, you can't fake this.
Love it.
So I
No.
think my slide is next, which kind of continues the subject matter of queer women. Somehow I missed that Cara Delevingne and Ashley Benson broke up.
Yes, they did. Yes, they did.
I think it happened earlier this year, and now they've both moved on. And I kind of want to break that down a little bit before we get into the group discussion. So Cara is photographed here with Kaya Herber. I think that's her last name. She's Cindy Crawford's daughter and Pete Davidson's ex, and she's only 18. Meanwhile, Cara is 27. Interesting age discrepancy for already having dated Pete Davidson while you're still 18. And then on the right, we have Ashley Benson with G-Eazy, the musician, rapper. And something that I find to be so interesting is that he's like early 30s, she's 30. G-Eazy is 6'4", which is a really sexy height. Ashley Benson is 5'3", which you can kind of see the height discrepancy in that photo. Well, the other two are like 5'8" and 5'7", and I'm so fascinated by all of these numbers, right? Because I feel like Cara and Ashley, were photographed bringing that sex swing into their house earlier this year, and then things went south, and now they're with these other people. I don't know, lots to digest.
I did read that they are now co-parents for the sex swing post breakup, which was my favorite take.
Oh, get your own sex swing. Good Lord.
I know.
If you would have been like, okay, G-Eazy, Cindy Crawford's daughter, these two are all in a room. What's the story here? That's crazy. That's a wild mix of people in 2020.
It's truly like throwing darts at a wall. I also can't get over the fact that Cara, who's 27, I mean, we were both born in 92, so she's about to turn 28, is dating someone who's 18. I feel like this is the equivalent of like me dating, I don't know, like Reese Witherspoon's son. Like, it just feels a little weird and unnecessary, considering that she dated St. Vincent, Like, to go from like older to like a little bit older to like way younger.
Yeah, 18 is. I mean, even if it's legal, that's big. That's a big.
Kind of super hot, but still, it's like 18. Like, she's not gonna be able to buy alcohol legally for years. I mean, that's probably not that big of a deal for people who are that famous and wealthy, but still, I feel like that would be a detractor nonetheless.
I think there's something to like the status, though. I mean, we just said it. Cindy Crawford's daughter. Like, Cara can't resist. Cara, whatever, can't resist.
Yeah, however, I don't know how it's pronounced. Laura, a question I have for you. Is there a term for, I think if Kaya was a boy, we'd be like, oh, like, that's a twink. Is there like a term for like a hot, blonde lesbian?
Yeah.
Or queer woman.
I know, or queer woman. Yeah, I don't know. I mean, probably, right? Like, if you're 18 and you look like that, someone's gonna be like, "Oh, you're such a feather femme, dyke." I don't know, feather femme baby dyke. I have no idea, but I'm sure the answer is yes. I don't know what it is. Maybe 18 is not my demographic or lesbians.
I feel like we had a conversation once where you broke down lesbian categories for us.
Did I?
Or was that
maybe it was?
Or was that a sketch idea?
Well, you know what? I think it was. It could have been more like a femme to mask gradient. I think I remember what you're talking about, and I'm pretty sure that's what it was. Like a hard butch versus like a high femme, which is an age. Yeah. I mean, they're both high femme. Well, Cara probably slides a little bit, but so that I think it was a butch femme. I do remember that, but I don't think it was an age. I don't know. Sound off in the comments if you know, or come up with something brilliant. Feather.
I think. What
did
you
queen,
say? Feather.
Femme. Feather comes to mind. 18, 5'10", and 92 pounds. Yeah, we're going with feather.
Feather. Putting them in their boxing weight classes is a good place to start.
That's what it was. It was your facial hair hobby. Got me halfway there.
Let's move on.
Yeah.
No, this is you. Oh my god! I'm so glad you're talking about this.
Yes. Did we skip you, Javi?
Oh yes.
Oh, okay.
Is this me? Okay, well, maybe we are in me.
Yeah.
Okay. Look. Yeah. Don't play the video yet. I had a hard time thinking of what to talk about this week. I just had a difficult time, and I was just like, Javi, look inside of yourself, find your truth. Just talk about wrestling. Right. Just do it. It's fine. It's fine. It's a gay show, but you can talk about wrestling. It's not that big of a deal. So
of course you can. You can talk about wrestling with us.
I know. I know it's a safe space.
It is a safe
We were talking about sports and how sports isn't happening, but there is one sport, and I know it's not really a sport; it's more of a form of entertainment. But wrestling has continued to happen all throughout quarantine, and it's hilarious. It is watching improv shows without an audience, so there's no reaction to the wrestling, and it's a fascinating experiment to watch.
Yeah.
But to give like a very quick snapshot, I won't go over like I did during our live show, Mace. I promise. But to give a quick snapshot about the history of wrestling, it's not been super kind to gay people, and it's been a homophobic place, right? It's the opposite of drag. It's like hyper masculinity. It's all this stuff. But things are starting to change, and there's a new organization called AEW, and they're very popular. They're beating WWE, which is like a very big deal. And this week, there's a wrestler by the name of Sonny Kiss who had his first, like, not first match, but like first, like, very big, like, was kind of a main event match. And I picked this video because I mostly want to show you guys his entrance. So we can play the video now.
Oh my god.
This was his walkout. I think I muted it, so there's no music. But Mama comes out with cheerleaders, and we get a full dance routine. And I live for it.
Oh, yeah.
This like Dallas Cowboy cheerleader vibe too.
Well, here's the deal. The AEW is owned by the owner of the Jaguars, so they're doing this in the Jaguar Stadium, so they get to use the Jaguar cheerleaders.
Oh, amazing.
Amazing. This is a wrestler who's about to wrestle.
Oh, yeah, he's about to wrestle a big dude. Yeah. Here's my favorite thing. You can kind of hear it in the background. Look at that death drop. You can kind of hear it in the background, but the commentators, who are these sweet, straight men who've been in wrestling all their lives, are trying so hard to figure out how to talk about Sonny. And it's so funny because these are some of the quotes that they say. One of them goes, I was talking to some of the guys in the locker room, and they were saying that Sonny has some of the strongest legs in the locker room. I don't understand why they brought that up. We can pause the video now because the rest of this video is mostly him getting his ass kicked. He loses the match, but he puts in a valiant effort, and that's what's important in wrestling. At one point, one of the other commentators go, Sonny's a real free spirit. He's real creative. A lot of the other guys don't know how to prepare for a Sonny match because his style is so unorthodox, but we love it. Look at this cool entrance. It's so funny. They don't say anything homophobic. It's just very sweet to listen to these straight men try really, really hard when mostly they're just like, let her do her thing. And it's just like, it's so great. But anyways, I just wanted to shout out Sonny Kiss because he had a great match that night.
Sonny Kiss. I'm on board with this being a very sweet, don't be homophobic. You're just going to talk about this in a way, talk about their athleticism. What else can we say? What an entrance. To come up, top of their intelligence, but don't be homophobic, but we've never done this before. Come up with something, it is kind of sweet and actually kind of a big deal for sports commentators to try.
It's great. I really encourage everyone to find this YouTube clip. If you type in Sonny Kiss, that's the first link, and just listen to these commentators just stumble over themselves trying to figure out how to talk about Mama coming out, just doing some choreography and just slaying it. It's fine. That's all you got to say.
I love it. I want to watch this whole
it's
thing.
so good. And you said this
Javi
guy's name is Sonny Kiss? Yeah,
Sonny Kiss.
So informative.
Yes, that's his name.
Every week.
Always bring wrestling.
Sonny Kiss.
Yes.
Cool. Let's move on to the next slide.
Yes. Yay! So Batwoman has been recast on the CW. Ruby Rose left. She said, "This show's too much work, and I don't want to do work. I'm too pretty for that." So the CW said, "All right, we're recasting you." And they cast an out bisexual actress named Javicia Leslie. She's hot as all hell. They're not just replacing Kate Kane, which was Ruby Rose's character. They're developing a new character who is billed as likable, messy, a little goofy, and untamed, much like me. I love that they chose a woman of color. Huge fucking deal that she's out bisexual. In the show, she's going to be a lesbian. They've stated. So this is huge, and just look how fucking hot she is. She's cool as hell. I've been watching YouTubes and fangirling a little bit. I'm very excited to see what Javicia does in this role.
Well, I'm so intrigued by this because I feel like all of these like CWDC shows are really built for
Yeah,
longevity. Like they really want them to run for like 8 years or something. And so I just want to know like what went down on that set where everyone
I
was
know.
like very unanimous. Like, okay, like Ruby Rose is no longer part of this show. Because it was such a like I think like the final episode of the season aired and they're like, and guess what? Ruby Rose is not coming back.
Yeah,
Yeah,
it
there was
seemed
like
right.
there was a lot of weird secrecy around sort of what happened, and I want to know. I want to hear
I,
that podcast.
I heard it. There was a rumor that she got like semi severely injured on the show,
Oh,
and like
jeez.
didn't like it because again, her look is all she has. I'm just kidding. She's an okay. She's not that great of an actress. We tried to watch one episode and couldn't make
No.
it through. It was very bad. But if you watch it, I love many shows in the Arrowverse, so I won't talk on it. But I just don't think that she was built for a role that is this demanding physically, or
Oh,
hours
yeah.
wise even. So yeah, there was a rumor that she got injured on set, didn't like it, and that's why she left. But I am very excited that a better replacement.
Here's what I'll say about this: the announcement of the new actress is that I don't know who this PR
Mhm.
person was or who picked this picture on the left, because that's the picture I saw mostly come up on Twitter. And the first time I
Yes.
saw it, I haven't this hasn't happened to me in forever, but I like lost my breath. Like I froze. I was like, what a gorgeous woman. Who is she? She's
Yes.
bisexual, she's of color, she's playing Batwoman. Like it was all like digesting this news. And I credit that picture because that really, I was like, damn, that's a really good picture. She's gorgeous.
She is gorgeous. I watched a YouTube today and caught myself because you see a reflection when the YouTube's done. It's just like my mouth was agape. It was an interview. She's absolutely stunningly beautiful, and also a good actress too. So I'm very excited about this, and where it leads.
I think it's incredible that they're able to like reinvent this in a way that is being so well received. Because I haven't seen like
Yeah,
any like weird fandoms like, oh my gosh, Ruby Rose was like the best fucking part of that show. How
yeah,
dare you continue without her? I think everyone's just
hmm
excited for this new actress and character and where the show
yeah.
can go from here.
Totally trained in Mai Tai. She's vegan. Given the gays what they want. As
Amazing.
someone who's not
I
vegan,
love that you
believe
said
she
she's,
could be.
wait,
Go,
she's
please, please.
trained in Muay Thai?
And yeah.
Oh
Oh, I
my
called it Mai
God,
Tai. Yes, Muay Thai. Jesus.
that's
Yeah.
incredible.
My
I
time.
know.
That's
I
My Tai
know,
sounds
right?
like
I
an
Like
love
it's
a Muay
app
Thai.
for like ordering
Mai Tai.
food.
Mai Tai's a
No, Muay
Mai
Thai's a
Tai get you free
cocktail.
food. It's a cocktail. It's like a
Oh,
rum
yes,
fruity drink.
yes. No, we're just gonna pretend that I didn't see that. Really
Aww.
showing that I'm white over here.
I called the martial art Mai Tai, so I don't know. I don't know what that is. Uh,
We're having fun over here on Queerantine. Oh man.
cool.
Javi, I
We
think
can
you're
move
up
on.
on next.
Okay.
Yeah.
Oh, am I up again?
I think you
Okay.
are, yeah.
Um, okay, so the other thing that I've been digesting is Canada's Drag Race. This is obviously a spin-off show of RuPaul's Drag Race, and they sent it up to Canada, and we are paying for another streaming service so that we can watch it live. It's great. They have RuPaul doesn't host it, but her presence is felt throughout the show. They have
Okay.
three hosts. One is this incredible, I think she's a former model. She's really great. She has like the deepest baritone voice you've ever heard. There's Brooklyn Heights, who was a drag queen on the 2 seasons ago, and Jeffrey
Right.
Chapman, who I believe is an actor. Anyways, this is not the
Oh,
point.
he's
The
so
point is
hot.
that and
And
he's
I
a
think it's
very
Jeffrey
good
Bauer
host. He
Chapman.
definitely, what's that?
Oh, I think he has three names. I think he's one of those like fun people with three
You're right.
names.
You are right. It's Bauer?
Jamie Lee Curtis. etc.
Jeffrey Bauer Chapman.
But I mostly am wanting to highlight this very one specific queen, because here's the thing: Canada's Drag Race doesn't have to attend to the mores of the American Drag Race, so they've got some quirky fucking queens. And this is a drag queen, and this is his entrance. Her name is Jimbo, and I am obsessed with Jimbo. So can we play the video?
Oh, wow! Oh my God! What's happening right now? Okay.
My name is Jimbo. I am 37 years old, and I am
It's almost over.
run-of-the-mill guy.
I'm going to spin
I'm
a circle.
At the Jimbo show, many people come just to see what costume I've made or what weird idea I have or what I'm going to be pulling out of where.
Let me tell you, Jimbo is that bitch. She, I mean, I've only seen 2 episodes so far, but everything she does, she's such a weirdo. She's such a freak. She pulls together these incredible looks. Their first challenge is to like
It's
do
incredible.
like a high concept version of like their first time in drag. And Jimbo's first time in drag was as a zombie. So she comes out as like a zombie cheerleader and pulls like her ponytails out and uses them as pom-poms, and there's like blood coming out of her mouth, and it's fucking iconic. I'm obsessed with Jimbo. Everyone needs to watch Canada's Drag Race. It's so much fun.
Wow.
Yes, Javi, lend out your credentials for, I don't even know, what the freeform, what is it,
Wow
Canadian?
Presents.
Wow Presents.
Wow
Okay, Wow
Presents.
It's Wow Presents.
That feels like a scam. Like if I was like dating someone and we had like a joint checking
Yeah.
account and I was like going through charges, it was like, sweetie, like you spent like $12.99 on Wow Presents? Like, is this an intentional charge? Like, what's going on here?
Fine. It's $4 a month. It's fine.
It's $4 a month.
Oh,
I signed up for
yeah.
Nickelodeon hits because I watched Avatar. I needed to watch Korra, obviously. And
you're on an anime kick.
We are. So I didn't know.
I love this.
So Bonica watched Avatar back when it aired, was like, we need to sit down and watch this. Have either of you seen Avatar?
You know, I haven't, but I've heard wonderful
Neither have I.
things. That sounded
It
so
has
false,
like
but I
a-
swear to God, I've heard really good
No,
things.
it does. Like there's like a Harry Potter Golden Boy theme of like the chosen one with all the powers. It gets very spiritually centered. They break down chakras on a Nickelodeon show. I went back and watched it because I was like, wait. I have never heard chakras broken down this simply. Like, what is blocking it? Your guilt. Moving on. What is the next chakra? Like, it is very guru-centric and spiritual and really beautiful. I fully recommend. Is it queer? Sure. Aang is a like very spiritual young boy as the avatar. And segueing into Korra has big muscles and is the female version of a feminist avatar, although we have problems with it as we're going through. I do know how Korra ends, but I'm excited to get there. We're right at season 4, which is the last of Korra. But also like very spiritually centered too. Breaking down like any kind, like give me a show that's going to break down chakras, please, and in any form. So it has really been a fun quarantine watch.
Nice.
And my favorite anime.
Quarantine
But
watch.
Yes.
I have a question, but I'm going to hold it because I think we have one more slide to go, and I don't want to derail this too much, but I want to come back to this question. So somebody remind me that.
I think we have time to come back.
I have a question.
Yeah. So,
cool.
Yes.
Yeah. Let's move on to our next slide. So speaking of fun quarantine watches, this morning actually, I took off work today, and I watched The Old Guard, which is this new Charlize Theron action movie on Netflix. I kind of went into this, I had heard good things, and I generally like Charlize Theron action movies. What I did not expect is how queer this movie is. So it's about like immortal mercenaries who like help solve world problems throughout history, but it's like focused on like here and now basically. And there's a couple that is played by Marwan Kenzari, who was the hot Jafar in the live action Aladdin, and this other guy, Luca Marinelli. And it's really cool. Like they're kidnapped and there's like all of these like armed dudes around them, and they just like kiss and express their love for each other. And they're like a crucial part of the mission. So it was really cool to see that intentional queer representation. And maybe in more of an ambiguous way, it really seems like Charlize Theron's character is not straight and maybe had a really significant past love interest who she had to part ways with at one point. But there's this new immortal, basically, that enters the picture, played by Kiki Lane, who was in If Beale Street Could Talk, if you saw that one. And they have this fight sequence on a plane that honestly feels like a dom initiating a sub into what their dynamic is going to look like. It's
I'm
very
biting my
sexy.
lip.
It's very playful. It's got a great music track backing it. And I don't know, they just have like really good physical chemistry with each other. And they're like beating the shit out of each other, but because they're immortal, like it doesn't fucking matter, right? So I do recommend. It's like 2 hours. You'll likely enjoy it. I don't know.
Yeah, I need to.
The Old Guard. Watch it on Netflix.
Yeah, I just heard about this today because I was listening to a podcast and they were talking about it. And I mean, first of all, Charlize Theron action movie. That's all I need to hear.
Oh yeah.
But yeah, they were and it's also like it's a female director. It's
Oh,
a black woman I think that directed it. She is the person
Yeah.
that wrote and directed Love and Basketball, I think. So it's kind of
Yes.
cool to see like her helming this like action kind of for lack of a better descriptor like superhero movie.
Yeah, it is a really well done movie, and I think it was made for like $70 million, which is a really big budget for a black woman to be at the helm of an action movie.
yeah.
And I think that that's what might have inspired the really inclusive casting throughout. And there's a lot of like interesting moments with Kiki Lane's character that I feel like only happened because it was a black woman directing her, where like there's one moment in particular where she's kind of trying to center herself and she just like puts earbuds in and like listens to a song, and it felt just so real, like in this movie where everything is so heightened and they're mercenaries and they're going after each other, to like have such a grounded like personal moment. I don't know, it was a nice touch.
Hmm. I am excited to watch it. It seems like a good
So
early morning coffee movie. Saturday morning coffee movie.
Yes, it totally
Yeah.
was. Yeah, today was my Saturday and I had a good time with it.
Love it.
awesome.
But yeah, Javi, that was our last slide. So what is your
That was
question?
our last
We
slide.
got
All
time.
Yeah,
right.
so my question, I built it up too much. It's just like a general question. I guess I want to know what I guess I want to know two things, like how you're picking what you're watching in quarantine,
Yeah.
and
Mm.
also
Good
what's
question.
like the most like surprising thing that you've gotten sort of sucked into.
Ooh,
Great question.
good one.
I'm surprised that I got into Avatar and Korra. Granted, I didn't watch every episode of Avatar. I popped in here or there. I watched the last 2 seasons, I think. But yeah, I've never watched this is a cartoon on Nickelodeon. Like, like I'm so above that. But like I was, right. But like kind of surprised that like a cartoon where people are shooting, fire and wind and pulling rocks. There's like a Captain Planet element binding to it, and learning to bend, and through listening to their elders. There's like some Ninja Turtles vibes with like Splinter and stuff. Which was a huge part of my like something that made me happy as a kid. But friendship, again, going back to Harry Potter. I'm surprised that I'm watching a cartoon, but also I yelled at the TV last night. Well, that's a fucking big deal. So it's kind of she learned a new bending. Okay, Cora learned a new thing to bend. So it was a big deal. And I yelled at the TV and I was like, wow, you are fully invested into this cartoon. That is really fucking good. So I could not recommend it more. It is a great, chill quarantine watch that is really sweet and fun.
I love that.
Yeah. What's going into both? Javi, great question. What is going into why are you choosing what you're watching, and are you surprised by anything?
Oh yeah, Tina, I also watched The Babysitter's Club. It's such a gentle show, and it's so well put together in that it's like for preteens, and it talks about like really important issues of autonomy and identity. And I think they did a great job of updating these books for 2020.
Yeah.
I read them as a kid, and there's so many of them. I don't think I read all of them, but I read enough to kind of know the characters and what all they're going into. And there's something comforting, given the complexity of this moment we find ourselves in, to kind of take a step back and to make space for people who, like, I don't know, their biggest issue is I failed a test and how do I tell my parents? And I think that we kind of forget about all of these moments that we go through in our adolescence. And obviously now, like, we're all having to, make time to process things. And I think we need to be gentle with ourselves. And the show does a great job of reinforcing that you have to do that. And also, like, rely on your friends, ask for help. It's a very comforting read or watch, I guess.
We call it reading.
Yeah, I'm reading the tea.
Yeah, my question wasn't about books because I haven't read a single book in quarantine.
I joined a book club.
Oh, what kind of book
Random
club?
aside. It was great. But yeah, I think, Javi, the second part of your question, I was surprised to find myself watching Babysitter's Club. I was not surprised to find myself watching musicals and action movies. Those are like my comfort bread and butter. And I'm trying to branch out into things that are a little more like intellectually stimulating. But I find that's kind of challenging given my mental capacity whenever I get around to watching something. And, I've been at work or crying all day or whatever.
Oh,
Yeah, I think that's like the struggle I think that I've had, just in terms of like there's times where I'm like, I have all this time right now to be watching something and I should be consuming something that's gonna make me whatever, a better writer or a more cultured person or whatever. And like one of the things that I most got sucked into is that stupid Netflix show, The Floor is Lava. And it's like it's the literal definition of mindless entertainment is literally just watching people traverse obstacles and engage in like dynamics. But it was one of the things where it was like as we were watching it, I was like every night we would hit this point in the day where it'd be like, yeah, I think we got to watch a Floor is Lava thing, almost like it was medicine. Like it was just like we just need this last hour to let these edibles kick in and just very much get into this show and go to bed. Like this is how we need to ease out of this daily nightmare. But the other thing I was going to shout out that I was surprised that I devoured in like a week was Never Have I Ever on Netflix.
I haven't seen it.
I mean, it's like a 30-minute show, but it sounds similar to Babysitter's Club in terms of like its adolescence. It's just like a coming of age story of this young Indian girl who's just lost her mother, and she's just coming of age, and there's like queer representation, and there's I don't know, it's just very, very funny. Yes. And honestly, the funniest thing about the show is that tennis legend and rageaholic John McEnroe is the narrator of the show. And so he kind of narrates this adolescent Indian girl's inner monologues. And it's so funny and it's so weird and clever. And it's very good. It's a Mindy Kaling show. So it's something that I recommend. But that was like another example of like, Project. Yeah, it was. Well, it's kind of what you were talking about in terms of like, oh, I'm surprised I'm getting sucked into like this adolescent thing, but I was like, oh yeah, it's probably because like it's simple and it's reminiscent of the before times. So yeah, I don't know. That's just something I've been thinking about in terms of like how we're picking what we're doing while in core.
Yeah, no, it's hard. You want to watch something that, like May said, is better for your reading mind. But it's hard to get visual pictures to touch that sometimes.
Yeah.
I mean, I watched Chernobyl at the beginning of the quarantine. But...
Oh no, not the move. Well, I think we've hit our time. Everyone at home, thank you so much for tuning in to another episode. We'll be back at some point with more gay giggles and glittery moments.
And gaggles.
And gaggles, yes. And faggles.
Sorry. And faggles.
Well, y'all take care. I love both of you. And I love all of y'all watching at home. So
love y'all too. Miss you.
Back to you.